You're just in time for yet another conversation right here on Good Morning Kenya. We're talking about the special needs education, and in studio I'm joined by Dr. Apostle James Nthega, who is Director of Triumph School in Christ in Embu County. Welcome to the program.
Thank you very much.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing very well.
Karibu sana. Now, special needs education. Before we even look at its evolvement, how it has evolved. When we talk about special needs education, what are we looking at?
When you talk about special needs education, we are looking at providing learning that requires some special support to some learners who are enabled differently from what we call the general learners.
Yes.
Yes.
How can you say the special needs education in the country has evolved over the years?
Well, what I can say is that quite much has been done this far.
Yes.
Because there is quite some creating of awareness about special needs in our education system. But I would also say, like, there is still very many people who are not aware about special needs. And when they think, when people think about special needs, they think about people who are, or learners who are in very extreme levels, maybe to a level whereby people think no intervention can be done.
Yes.
But we find that in what we call the ordinary or general schools, there are so many learners who actually need some special support to be able to operate with the competencies that they have that are different from the general learners.
Yes.
Yes.
You know, when you hear about education, the first thing that pops in mind is just school from a general perspective.
Yes.
But there are types of institutions that offer special needs education.
Yeah.
Maybe you can talk about them.
Okay, when you talk about the institutions that offer special needs education, we are saying that there are institutions that have come with some specified intervention. That means that the people who are providing the education services, for instance, the teachers, they have undergone some training so that they have some skills to be able to intervene in some areas which learners cannot be helped just in a normal ordinary class. Yes.
And currently, with the introduction of KBC, how do you think it has impacted the special needs education?
First of all, I would want to say that I really appreciate that we have gone to KBC, that is competency-based education. Because before, our education system was mainly, let's say, knowledge-based.
Actually, it has gravitated to competence-based education and training.
Yes. So now talking about competency-based education, then it means that we are not just focusing on knowledge. We are actually focusing on the skills or the competencies that the learners can have. And that's why we say, even before we had come to that, for example, I would say, like, when I was in school myself, in high school, I was taught by a teacher, CRI, who was bright. And a subject would perform very well, like 98 to 100% performance. Now, that teacher, really, Mike could not see like we see, but he was able to communicate to us without necessarily writing. So you see, that teacher is enabled in a different way, and he could still instill knowledge to us. So that means that we can't just narrow down education into just writing and seeing and getting an A in academics. There are some learners or students that are very good in other areas, and that's why I appreciate the approach of CBE, because in CBE we are looking at the competency. So what are we saying? We're saying that we need to identify the competencies in some of the learners which we thought were disadvantaged, but in the real sense they are not disadvantaged. They are enabled in a different way.
Do you think there was some sort of, prior to now, there was some sort of stigma surrounding kids with special needs when it came to them joining school?
Not that it was there, even now. It's actually there. Because as you interact even with the parents and the community,
yes,
you still find that some people kind of want to even hide them.
Yes.
Some of them, as we talk, are not yet actually in schools. I'm made to understand even when you go to now to the school population,
yes,
you may find actually even the general schools, like 10 to 11%, they are learners with special needs.
Yes. But
they are just there in the classrooms,
yes,
but not being given some special attention,
yes,
so that they can enhance their competence.
Yes.
So the stigma has been there, and it is still there, and that's why I come here to advocate for actually making the people understand that we need to see these learners and these people in a different way. They are not disadvantaged at all. They are only enabled in a different way. If we can be able to go into their abilities and bring them out, you'll be amazed by what they will be able to do. They may not write like I may write, but they may actually be able to understand what we are saying, and that can be decoded into something that can be written.
Yes.
I'll give an example. Recently, I just interacted with a parent who was a child with special needs in our school.
Yes.
And the son told the parent that, you know, Mom, I'm not able to write very well. But what the teacher said, I got it. It's in my mind. So what are we saying? If the child has a challenge in writing, does it mean that that child cannot communicate? No. Does it mean that that child did not understand? No. It only means that we need to see that that child has another ability, probably to be able to memorize what was taught, but as a challenge in writing.
Yes.
And the boy said, I would want to become an engineer one day. So I should be taught numbers or maths.
Has culture in any way contributed to this stigma?
Yes, the culture has. Because like if you go to some communities, some people who are challenged in a particular way, people thought they are cursed. For example, you just earned some challenge in your neurological development challenges.
Yes.
Then when you grew up, somebody says that you are cursed, or somebody during childbirth they have some challenge, and therefore they are in the process they have some delays, in their development. Then is that a curse? Really? It's not. So that there is the culture, or the culturally people are looked at as if they were cursed because they were probably challenged in a way that is so usual to us.
Yes.
And that's what we need to change, so that instead of seeing like it's a curse, then we need to ask, what is this person can do? And how can we be able to enhance that so that they become very good in it?
How do we change that mindset?
Now, one of the things like what we are doing now, because we are sharing this with the society, so that the people who have not heard about it can hear it. And when they hear it, they can start having a positive perspective. Why we started, for example, the SNE, that is Special Needs Education Unit in Triumph in Christ School, it's not that it was by design. It's that we admitted what we call the general learners, because we started right there at the preschool. Then as they went about the school system, teachers realized that there are kids that are not probably progressing with the normal learning with the others. They found some of them, they have some learning difficulties, and they have to spend more time on them than other kids. So in that case, we ask ourselves, do we just keep pushing the kids to the next class? or should we come in, especially as being a church-based school, or should we come in and find out how these kids can be helped more? And so with some, of course, research and checking with the Ministry of Education, we were able to realize that, yes, there are ways that these kids can be helped because there are teachers who are trained to be able to intervene in different ways to help those learners.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, that also brings us to the aspect of access to special needs education, as well as infrastructure. From your standpoint, do we have adequately equipped infrastructure to carry out special need education?
I would say in most of the schools, no. Why no? It is because of the same ignorance and at times probably negligence.
Yes.
People don't know, and at times they neglect those learners with special needs. Then you find that they don't end up investing into infrastructure that is actually complying into helping the learners with special needs. So I would say that there's a lot that need to be done, and especially when we have such a good education system, the CBE system, though it's, everything that is, we get good or bad, it has its own challenges, whereby now we are not just focusing on knowledge only. We are looking at the competencies. So we need to synthesize even the learning institutions so that as we invest, then we take care of these special learners. Yes.
What about, you're talking about only infrastructure in school. What about transport for those who are physically impaired?
Well, that's a very good question, because I remember when we went to purchase a bus for our school, and I want to really appreciate the government for coming up with a policy that now when you're buying a school bus to transport learners, then you need to take care of that. So that, like, we're buying a 52 seats bus, but we ended up with a bus.
Allow me to cut you short and take us to State House, where the President is receiving new ambassadors. This is a live event that is happening in State House, where President William Ruto is receiving new ambassadors.